Hello from the Dark Side of the Library podcast. My name is Carrie, and I'm here with my spooky co-host Katie. And we are delighted to bring you part 1 of our dark fiction book picks for August 2022. Not quite the spooky season, almost, but we're sitting here sweltering, dying of the heat.
Yes.
You might hear my dogs panting in the background.
Oh, poor guys. All right, I guess I will go first with my first book. It is called Babel, or The Necessity of Violence, an Arcane History of the Oxford Translators Revolution. I wasn't sure if this was supposed to be nonfiction, but it says this is sci-fi, and it's Asian mythology and historical fantasy, but it sounded super fancy, and I was like, what? All right, so this is what this book is about. It's by R.F. Kuang. 1828, Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lavelle. Oh. There, he trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese. Wow, what a mix. All in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world's center for translation and, more importantly, magic, silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation using enchanted silver bars.
Whoa.
I know, I love it, it's cool. Babel has made the British unparalleled in power, as its knowledge serves the Empire's quest for colonization. For Robin, Oxford is a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, but knowledge obeys power, and as a Chinese boy raised in Britain, Robin realizes serving Babel means betraying his motherland. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society.
Oh, this is getting cooler by the second.
There we go. It's an organization dedicated to stopping imperial expansion. Oh boy. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide who he sides with. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? So this was supposed to be a dark read. It said it was. Apparently, this is a tonal retort to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It's interesting, and I know that's a fairly dark book, so we'll see how this goes. I might give it a shot. This is called Babel, or The Necessity of Violence by R.F. Kuang. What is your first book, Carrie?
Well, I'm still stunned thinking about that one. There's a lot going on in that one.
Yeah. I like silver magic. That's cool.
Well, I'm delighted that we have a new Joyce Carol Oates book coming out. She's an amazing, legendary author that often writes dark books, and her next book is Babysitter, a novel. It comes out August 23. It's set in the final days of the turbulent 1970s, in the wake of some unsolved child killings that shocked Detroit, which really happened. The lives of several residents are drawn together with tragic consequences. We start with Hannah, the wife of a prominent local businessman, and she's begun an affair with a darkly charismatic stranger, whose identity remains elusive. Then there's Mikey, a canny street hustler who finds himself on a chilling mission to rectify injustice. And then we follow the serial killer known as Babysitter, an enigmatic and terrifying figure at the edges of elite Detroit. As Babysitter continues his rampage of abductions and killings, these individuals intersect with one another in startling and unexpected ways. Wow. The book calls into question how far we are willing to go to protect those who we cherish most. I love it.
That sounds cool.
It's a work of contemporary fiction, and it is trying to make a point of pointing out corrupt politics, unexamined racism, and the enabling of sexual predation in America. It's going to be depressing.
Oh my god.
It's Babysitter, a novel by one of the greatest living authors, Joyce Carol Oates, and it comes out August 23. Wow. What's next on your list? Do you have anything slightly more cheerful?
Here?
Not really. We're not here for that, people.
So my next book is a Tor. It was published by Tor, or will be published by Tor. It comes out August 2nd. It's called The Book Eaters. This is by Sunyi Dean. It is British and Irish horror, so I'm kind of excited. It seems more folktale-like. Out on the Yorkshire moors lives a secret line of people for whom books are food, and who retain all of the book's content after eating it. That gives
I'm loving
Osmosis
this.
a different... Yeah, it's great. To them, spy novels are a peppery snack. Romance novels are sweet and delicious. Eating a map can help them remember destinations, and children, when they misbehave, are forced to eat dry, musty pages from dictionaries. That's cute. So Devon is part of the family, that's what they call themselves, an old and reclusive clan of book eaters. Her brothers grow up feasting on stories of valor and adventure, and Devon, like all other book eater women, is raised on a carefully curated diet of fairy tales and cautionary stories.
Ooh,
I love this metaphor that's happening. But real life doesn't always come with happy endings, as Devon learns when her son is born with a rare and darker kind of hunger. Not for books, but for human minds.
oh.
I have to read this, I think.
I do too.
This sounds so fun. All right, so this is called Book Eaters. This is by Sunyi Dean, and it comes out August 2nd. I'm excited.
My next book is by Alice Feeney, who wrote Rock, Paper, Scissors last year that was all over Book Talk and Bookstagram, and people were freaking out because they loved it.
Yeah.
Her new book is called Daisy Darker. It comes out August 30 from Flatiron Books. So after years of avoiding each other, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. What a great idea for a family reunion among people who don't like each other. Finally back together one last time, when the tide comes in, they'll be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. I would be running to the nearest Safeway and stocking up on alcohol, but anyway.
Yes.
The family arrives, each of them harboring secrets, and then at the stroke of midnight as the storm rages, Nana is found dead. And an hour later, the next family member follows.
Oh.
They're trapped on an island where someone is killing them one by one, and the Darkers must reckon with their present mystery as well as their past secrets before the tide comes in and all is revealed.
Oh my goodness, lots of things are after them.
That sounds like a great dark beach read. And many of us here at Dark Side of the Library do not go to beaches and don't sit in the sun, but we can curl up in front of the air conditioning and read a dark, suspenseful thriller like Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney.
All right, my next book is called Dwellers. This is a Philippine National Book Award winning novel, so that's really cool. I love international reads. I like different takes on horror from different cultures. It's just so cool. So this comes out August 16. This is by Eliza Victoria, and Aldi Aguirre is an illustrator. So I'm wondering if this might actually be a comic as well, or just have some kind of illustration throughout. Amazon's not letting me see it, but it is dark fantasy. This is published by Tuttle. So the rules are strict and absolute. Rule number 1, don't kill the body you inhabit. Rule number 2, never mention your previous name again.
Oh.
Rule number 3, don't talk about your previous life. Ever. But what happens when, in escaping your old life by stealing a new one, you jump out of the frying pan and into the fire? Cousins from a clan of, quote, dwellers, people who inhabit the bodies and lives of others, become brothers when they take over the bodies of Jonah and Louie. An injury forces them to remain in the brothers' house, where they discover that the basement holds a dead body. As old and new secrets come to light, it becomes clear that every action always has its consequences. I'm kind of excited. I really want to read. I've never read any Philippine horror books, so this is a cool one. So check this one out. This is called Dwellers. This won a lot of awards. It's by Eliza Victoria. It comes out August 16th.
I think some of those roles might work great for family reunions.
Oh,
Don't kill the body you inhabit or anyone else. Don't mention your previous life ever.
Yeah. So many family books.
My next book is great to take with you on an airplane if you're going on a trip this summer. You're going to be miserable. You might as well have some good stories to keep you company. It's Haunted Tales, Classic Stories of Ghosts and the Supernatural. It's edited by Lisa Morton and Leslie Klinger, and they have edited several books together. They're really good at it. It's an anthology of ghostly tales. In Haunted Tales, the reader will enjoy discovering masterpieces like Algernon Blackwood's terrifying The Kit Bag, Oscar Wilde's delightful The Canterville Ghost, and F. Marion Crawford's horrific The Screaming Skull, one of my favorite classic horror.
Ooh.
And then we'll have lesser-known gems by some of literature's greatest voices, including Virginia Woolf, H.G. Wells, and Rudyard Kipling. We also resurrect some wonders that have been woefully neglected, including Dinah Muloch's M. Anastasius, which Charles Dickens called the best ghost story ever written, E.F. Benson's The Bus Conductor, which is the source of one of the most iconic lines in horror. Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
And The Story of the Spaniards, Hammersmith, which was the debut adventure of fiction's first psychic detective. Whether the stories are familiar or overlooked, all are sure to surprise and astonish the reader long past the closing of this book's cover. It is Haunted Tales, Classic Stories of Ghosts and the Supernatural by Lisa Morton and Leslie S. Klinger.
I like those. That'll be fun.
It's nice to pick up one story
Yeah.
and read it while you're doing chores or waiting for the laundry, but you don't have time for a whole page-turning book.
Yeah, exactly. It's really perfect. All right, so my next book, it's called Kismet, a thriller. It comes out August 1st. It's by Amina Akhtar, and the cover's really interesting. It looks like you're in the Grand Canyon, but you have a pool side, and you can see the Grand Canyon or beautiful red mountains like the Grand Canyon in the distance, and then there's like a singular crow hanging out next to the pool.
As there would be.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Anyway, so lifelong New Yorker Ronnie Kahn never thought she'd leave Queens. She's not an aim high, dream big person until she meets the socialite wellness guru Marley Dewhurst. Marley isn't just a visionary. She's a revelation. Seduced by the fever dream of finding her best self, Ronnie makes for the desert mountains of Sedona, Arizona. Okay, it was Sedona, sorry. Healing yoga, transcendent hikes, epic juice cleanses. Ronnie consumes her new bougie existence like a fine wine. But is it really? Or is this whole self-care business a little sour? When the glam gurus around town start turning up gruesomely murdered, Ronnie has her answer. All is not well in Wellness Town. As Marley's blind ambition veers into madness, Ronnie fears for her life. All right, I dig this. It's just it's a typical fun thriller. Apparently, it's actually a bit comedic. So check it out. This is Kismet, a thriller. It comes out August 1st. It's by Amina Akhtar.
I wanted to take a second where we beg for reviews. We'd love to have you stop by Apple Podcasts and drop us a rating and review. It helps other dark readers find our podcast. And also, if you are listening along and we're talking about a book that you are intrigued by, don't forget to stop by the show notes on our blog, where you can click on an Amazon affiliate link and go buy yourself the book and toss us a couple of pennies. Not that we need it that badly, but it helps keep the blog and the podcast running.
Yay.
So, my next book is Scarecrow Has a Gun, a novel by Michael Paul Kozlowski. Never trust other people's memories and watch out for your own. Sean Whittlesey was there when his wife was murdered. Oh, he saw the light leave her eyes.
Aww.
He held her dead body in his arms. He knows he wept, but he cannot recollect a single other detail. He's tormented by the tragedy, and he's reliving the horror over and over again, as you would.
Yeah.
As he struggles to recall what really happened, his imagination serves up an endless chain of scenarios, but the truth remains hidden in the vault of his memory, and the key is nowhere to be found. Now, nearly 2 decades later, Sean's now remarried and a father of 2, and he wins a bizarre contest hosted by his eccentric boss. The prize is the Memory Palace, a state-of-the-art black box that supposedly allows its possessor to relive every moment he's ever experienced, playing out all the memories on a screen. No thank you.
Yeah, no.
Especially skip the part where I was ever in the bathroom. Sorry. Well, the small machine at first appears to be the answer to the mystery surrounding the death of his wife. It instead upends Sean's life. He pushes his family further and further away as the Memory Palace forces him to confront harsh realities and difficult questions that he's lacked the strength to face or answer. He's spiraling downward, and he encounters increasingly harrowing challenges that force him to realize his memory is not the only thing at stake. To uncover the truth about his past, he must fight for his very life. Whew.
Oh my, wow.
I think I'm not going to rush to buy that one. It sounds depressing. I hope he didn't kill her himself.
Oh my god.
Oh, I don't know.
Ugh. Like he drove her to murder herself or something would be terrible too.
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe
God.
I am intrigued after all. That's Scarecrow Has a Gun by Michael Paul Kozlowski.
Okay. Huh. All right, my next book is called Shudder. It comes out August 2nd. It's by Ramona Emerson. So Rita is a forensic photographer working for the Albuquerque police force. Her excellent photography skills have cracked many cases. She is almost supernaturally good at capturing details. In fact, Rita has been hiding a secret. She sees the ghosts of crime victims who point her towards the clues that other investigators overlook. Ooh, I like
nice.
that. That's
nice.
cool. As a lone portal back to the living for traumatized spirits, Rita is terrorized by nagging ghosts who won't let her sleep and who sabotage her personal life. What? Evil? Her taboo and psychologically harrowing ability was what drove her away from the Navajo reservation, where she was raised by her grandmother. It has isolated her from friends and gotten her in trouble with the law. And now it might be what gets her killed. When Rita is sent to photograph the scene of a supposed suicide on a highway overpass, the furious, discombobulated ghost of the victim, who insists she was murdered, latches onto Rita, forcing her on a quest for revenge against her killers. 2 killers at least. Oh. And Rita finds herself in the crosshairs of one of Albuquerque's most dangerous cartels. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on here.
There is.
Oh, right. So this is Shudder. It sounds interesting. So I think it does have parts of the Navajo Nation with supernatural horror mixed into some of the cultural aspects there, and crime thriller. So if that's something that interests you, check it out. This is by Ramona Emerson, and it comes out August 2nd.
My next book has a stunning cover, and I think you should go look at it, Katie, because I have a question. Is it a skull? It's called Small Angels, a novel by Laura Owen. It comes out August 2 from Random House. The cover is all organic, and there's plants and weeds winding together into what I think is a skull shape, but with a bell in the middle of where your nose would be. I don't know.
Oh my god, wait. I can see that.
And
now that you're saying something.
Yeah. At the very top of the book, it says, "The woods are stirring again."
Ooh.
Lucia and her sisters grew up on the edge of Mock Beggar Woods. They knew it well, its danger, but also its beauty. As a lonely teenager, Kate was drawn to these sisters, who were unlike anyone she'd ever met. But when they brought her into the woods, something dark was awakened, and Kate has never been able to escape the terrible truth of what happened there. I was going to walk my dogs in the woods by my house tonight, and maybe now I'm not going to. Chloe has been planning her dream wedding for months. She has the dress, the flowers, and the perfect venue. Small Angels, a charming old church, set alongside dense green woods in the village that her fiancé and his sister grew up in. But days before the ceremony, Chloe starts to learn of unsettling stories about Small Angels and Mock Beggar Woods, and worse, she begins to see, smell, and hear things that couldn't possibly be real. Now, the fiancé's sister is returning home for the first time in years, for Chloe and Sam's wedding. But the woods are stirring again, and Kate, the sister, must reconnect with Lucia, her first love, to protect Chloe, the village, and herself. It's an unforgettable novel about the memories that hold us back and those that show us the way forward. Enter Small Angels, if you dare.
Oh boy.
It's by Lauren Owen, and it comes out August 2.
Cool. Okay, my next book, I think I'm going to pick this one up when I get the chance, because it sounds interesting. So it's called Witches. It's a novel. It comes out August 16th. It's by Brenda Lozano, and Heather Cleary is the translator. So this is a beguiling story of a young journalist whose investigation of a murder leads her to the most legendary healer in all of Mexico. So this, I think, is really cool. Okay, so Paloma is dead, but before she was murdered, before she was even Paloma, she was a traditional healer named Gaspar. Before she was murdered, she taught her cousin, Feliciana, the secrets of the ceremonies known as veladas, and about the language and the book that unlock their secrets.
Hey, you're my cousin, so if you're ever about to get murdered, would you quickly teach me some Krav Maga? Or Krav Maga?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so sent to report on Paloma's murder, Zoe meets Feliciana in the mountain village of San Felipe. There, the two women's lives twist around each other in a dance macabre. Feliciana tells Zoe the story of her struggle to become an accepted healer in her community. And Zoe begins to understand the hidden story of her own experience as a woman, finding her way in a hostile environment shaped by and for men. Weaving together two parallel narratives that mirror and refract one another, this extraordinary novel envisions the healer as storyteller and the writer as healer, and offers a generous and nuanced understanding of a world that can be at turns violent and exultant, cruel and full of hope. So this, there's magic, there's feminine power. It's apparently there's a lot of family secrets. So
do I see a woman on the cover wearing a dress but with the head of a bird?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Whoa.
It's a little, I wasn't sure if it was a headdress at first, because when you just glance at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's a woman in a beautiful dress. But no, she, I think, has a head of a bird.
Cool.
So this is called Witches. This is by Brenda Lozano.
Before I present my final book for today, I wanted to remind you that there will be a part 2 of this episode with other dark and witchy books that are coming out in August 2022. But I also wanted to invite you to join us on our Amazon Live shopping channel if you get a little bored one day. We like to show you new dark tarot decks that are coming out, bleak reads, and some very adorable little gothy toys. And we're gearing up to do lots and lots of Halloween shows where we just show you the adorable Halloween items we can't stop ourselves from shopping for. You can find us at amazon.com/shop/darksideofthelibrary. And if you're looking for our past live streams that you've missed, you can click on the live streams button to find us. So my final book for today is called The Witches of Moonshine Manor. It's a witchy rom-com novel, and I don't usually do rom-coms, but it's about witches. I had to. So, 5 octogenarian witches gather as an angry mob threatens to demolish Moonshine Manor. All eyes turn to the witch in charge, Queenie, who confesses that they've fallen far behind on their mortgage payments. Still, there's hope since the imminent return of Ruby, one of the sisterhood who's been gone for 33 years, and she'll surely be their salvation. But the mob is only the start of their troubles. One man is hell-bent on avenging his family for the theft of a legacy that he claims was rightfully his. In an act of desperation, Queenie makes a bargain with an evil that's far more powerful than anything they've ever faced. Then, things take a turn for the worse when Ruby's homecoming reveals a seemingly insurmountable obstacle instead of the solution to their problems. The witches are determined to save their home and themselves, but their aging powers are no match for increasingly malicious threats. Thankfully, they get a bit of help from Persephone, a feisty TikToker that's eager to smash the patriarchy. There's a lot going on in this book.
Oh my god.
As the deadline to save the manor approaches, the sisterhood has fractures that are revealed, and long-held secrets are exposed, and there's a fiery confrontation with their enemies. So I think I'm going to check this out because there's not a lot of books written about elderly witches.
No, you're right, which
And
is
since
wild.
I'll be one in less than 20 years, don't do the math, I better read this. That's The Witches of Moonshine Manor by Bianca Murray.
What a good way to end this episode. So thank you guys for listening. Again, this is part 1 of our adult fiction. You can find more dark reads on our Instagram, our Facebook, and on our Amazon Live channel, as Carrie put it recently. But it, again, is amazon.com/live/Dark Side of the Library. And for all of the other social media, it's just at Dark Side of the Library. So come join us. And also make sure to rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. It really helps us out. Thanks again, and we will see you next time.